Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to mainly my channel. And today, eat lunch with me while I talk to you about some things that are going on through the house. I have a salad with feta cheese and Olive Garden dressing, and I also have chicken ramen with just some salt and pepper and the seasoning. But what I mean by talk about what's going on in my house is that there are some weird things going on in my house that are very unexplainable. And I do have footage of it happening because not only do I have a security camera in my kids' room with two-way audio, motion detection, sound detection, human alert detections, all that in their room, but I also have one in my room because I've been doing some very weird things in my sleep, and we need to figure out what's going on because I'll wake up, be questioning like where my clothes are because I went to bed with clothes on, but I'm waking up completely like in the nude, and I have no recollection of ever taking my clothes off. And I go to look for my clothes, I can't find them. I'll come into the living room, I'll find them in the living room, in the middle of the floor. So we have a camera in there to help me figure out what's going on with that. And then I'm very prone to just like screaming in my sleep. But yet I'm not having like a bad dream. So to help figure that out. But at the same time, like I'm in my living room on my couch. My wife, she's at work. My kids are not here. We will get into why. But the cameras have been alerting me to sound detection in the boys' room, motion detection in their room. My room, it's motion detection and human alert detection, but I'm the only one home. And I don't have anybody over. So, there's that. And my toddler, my 3-year-old, sweet, sweet boy, love him. Everybody loves him. He's been having some weird behaviors at about 3 o'clock in the morning. He'll wake up and be talking to somebody. There has been once where we have caught it on camera that something responded back to him. It was a female. Me and my wife were both asleep. We didn't hear any of it going on. Plus, things were pulling on his, like we also caught on camera that things were pulling on his shirt. Weird mist type things were coming out from the wall. All sorts of different things. And then at one point, my now 1-year-old had also woken up, and they started having like a little party in their room. They're being quiet. My toddler's kind of talking, but they're both like facing each other. My now 1-year-old was in his crib rocking, facing his brother. My 3-year-old was on his bed, facing my 1-year-old, and rocking. I don't know what was going on there. We just kind of found it cute. My 3-year-old talking to somebody. That was a little weird. Heavy boot steps coming from like my attic. And my wife has Red Wing brand boots, like work boots, which are the same kind that her dad has as well. And it sounded like one of them were up there with their boots on, stomping around in the attic. But I can guarantee you that my wife was in bed next to me. I know because I was actively like wrapping my arm around her, asleep. And then my dad, my father-in-law, he was at work. He goes to work at 3 a.m. So I knew it was another one of them. And we didn't, like I said, we didn't hear it. We didn't know about it until the next morning when we went to go rewatch the footage. Which, talking about the footage, we had 3 hours of footage missing. Don't know why. Because when we woke up that morning, we hit stop recording. And then we immediately went back and started watching the footage. And we're like, she watched the footage, I changed diapers, got them up, started making them breakfast while they played in the living room. But coming towards the end of the footage, we noticed it stopped recording, like, at 5:30 in the morning. We noticed we had no more footage, but we hit stop recording at about 7 to 8 a.m. So where's the rest of that footage? And we were having some weird things, like a baby doll popped up in their bedroom. We have it on camera that there was no baby doll in their bedroom when they went to bed. My 3-year-old never left the bedroom. But all of a sudden there's a baby doll right next to the underneath of my 3-year-old's bed. Because they don't have toys in their room. Their toys are out here in the living room. Because if we have toys in their room, they won't sleep, they'll just play all night. So we have a rule, no toys in the room. We will let them during the day. We'll have their bedroom door open, as long as one of them's not taking a nap in there. But if they're both awake during the day, bedroom door is open. We sit there, we let them play in their room, because they do have a rug that has like a road on it that they can play with their cars on. And we let them play in the bedroom, but when it comes to bedtime, we make sure we take all the toys out, and we put them in the living room, and we put them to bed. So we knew for a fact that there were no toys in their room. And we had actively seen this baby doll in the living room before we went to bed. So how did it end up in their bedroom? Don't know. Very strange. And it's got to the point to where we don't have our kids here. We have them staying with a family member. But the activity's still going. Like a couple nights ago, me and my wife were doing some things in the bedroom. We look up, we see our ceiling fan blades spinning, but our ceiling fan is off. We don't use our ceiling fan because we need to buy a new one. So we try to ignore it, whatever. We shut the light off. My spouse looks up again. It's spinning in the opposite direction than it was spinning before we shut the light off. And my wife laid down, tried to yet again ignore it. Then she all of a sudden said, "That's strange." I'm trying to ask her what. She's not telling me. She eventually told me the next morning that as she was trying to ignore it, she all of a sudden just felt this intense feeling of fear, like something was going after her. And I'm the one who made the call to leave the bedroom. I didn't want in the bedroom. We'll just sleep in the living room because we do have a sectional. And I look at the camera the next morning, and I see that the ceiling fan string is swinging. And I'm listening. The box fan is off because we do have a box fan in our bedroom, and that's what we use to kind of keep it cool. Sorry, I have like a cut on my knuckle and I got salad dressing in it. Stung a little because it's vinegar. And I'm listening. Box fan's off. Box fan has been moved from the position that we had it. later that night, I'm walking by the bedroom. I swear to God, I'm hearing a noise coming from our bedroom. I'm listening. Box fans turned back on. My wife even said that morning she had to go into the bedroom to grab something. The box fan was off. She thought I had turned it off when we went to leave the bedroom. I didn't. I just kind of like got out of bed and I left. I didn't even worry about the fan. So she was finding that weird. And then this morning, as of January 12th of 2023, I was asleep in my bedroom alone because my wife had went off to work around 8 to 10-ish in the morning. I'm asleep. I hear my name get called. And I'm one of those that if you call my name while I am like dead asleep, I don't pay attention who you are. I just answer. So I heard my name get called out. It sounded like my wife. I thought she had came over using like the two-way speaker on the camera to call my name, kind of like wake me up. So I responded, yes. Got no response back. I fell back asleep. Whatever. Then I finally contacted her to tell her about it, and she's like, I was at work all day. Because I told her it sounded like it came from inside the bedroom. And I had thought that she came over the baby monitor to, like, wake me up. She said she didn't. She hasn't even checked the cameras all day because she keeps forgetting that we can do that. So she's pretty much telling me all about it. How it's strange, that's weird. Probably wasn't the best of ideas to respond. Yeah, well, I was asleep. What can you really expect? And we've been having things happen ever since we got access to this house, which was January 18th of last year. And we just chalked it up to, we're renovating. There's this really creepy well in our basement. Maybe there's something that's just naturally in the house, because one of those nights that we were like tearing out walls and stuff in the house, we went into the basement to start sweeping up the basement and take out old belongings from the previous people that had lived here. And my wife and I ended up back upstairs, and said her back was burning. She wanted me to check to see if she got scratched. I checked, and there's like 3 long scratches down her back. And I tell her, she was like, that's weird, I haven't touched anything. And she asked if I scratched her. No. At that time, when she said she was feeling that burning, I wasn't even downstairs. I was upstairs eating, because I needed to eat dinner. And I had just given birth, so I wasn't supposed to be doing much. And then about a week or 2 later, my wife notices scratches on my back. 2 of them. They're short, but they are bleeding. And she asked if I felt anything. I didn't know. So we've been having some weird things, and we've heard things getting knocked over in the basement, like a shovel or a broom. We don't think anything of it. We've had lights flickering, like this living room light. I do have a video that I either uploaded already or I'm going to upload, and the light is flickering a little bit. Keep in mind, we did redo electrical, because the electrical was not properly done, so we went and redid it, made it proper. So it's not like an electrical reason on why the lights are flickering. Especially since, 2-3-ish days ago, my wife was making dinner on our stove. The stove is pretty much brand new. When we got it, it was only used maybe once or twice, and the person didn't like it, so she got rid of it. She had bought it, used it like once or twice, and got rid of it type thing. And then the outlet that the stove is hooked up to, we had redone wires for, because we redid the flooring too. So I know it's not an electrical thing, but she said, like, she asked me a question like, hey, has the stove ever turned off before? Like, no power whatsoever type of turn off, and then like turn back on and back out the settings you had it on before it turned off. I said no. She's like, okay, because the stove and the oven both lost power, like completely lost power off, then turned back on, and without the settings I had it to before it got turned off. Because she was using our induction stove top to cook the tortellini noodles that we were going to be eating for dinner, and she was using the oven to make the french fries. And it had like lost power as if we had like a power outage or something, but we didn't. She found it weird. It was the only thing that lost power. And it's a special outlet just for stoves. So it's like, okay. Never had a problem since with the stove. Other weird things going on in the house are things being moved. Like, I found things where they don't belong, like clothing items. My 1-year-old sock was in their bedroom for 2 nights in a row, right in front of the crib. I have it on camera that nobody picked it up and moved it. Well, when we went to go take him somewhere, we couldn't find his other sock. It was not where it last was. Well, I go to put on my shoes, because we just put a different sock on them. And there's something in my shoe. I put my hand in my shoe. I pulled out his sock, wadded up in a ball that was deep into the toe part of my shoe. Ooh, eh? My 1-year-old don't know how to do that. He came and put like food in his mouth without dropping it. He doesn't have that kind of dexterity. My 3-year-old, that's not behavior for him. He never picked up the sock. That's not including finding my 1-year-old's. At the time he wasn't 1, he was like a week before turning 1. I woke up because I heard him crying. It was like 7:30, so about normal time for him to wake up. I go out to walk out of my bedroom. I see his empty bottle standing upright outside my door, and my 3-year-old sippy cup outside their bedroom door, but the bedroom door is shut. And we have it on camera that my 3-year-old never left the bedroom. So how did it end up outside the bedroom doors? And it's not just our house where we have problems. It's any house that we live in. Because I have family members still dealing with the repercussions of us living with them. And that's mainly like seeing orbs fly around their house, like inside their house, because they have an indoor camera in their kitchen because they have 2 dogs that like to get into things and torment the cats. They see orbs touching the dogs and flying around the dogs. They had another child that was living with them in their house. Something happened to her. Because there was a camera in her room. They saw orbs flying around her room and then saw her eyes. Her eyes were all black. There was not even that weird white, like, light where, like, your pupil would be. none of that. And she was staring at her closet screaming, no. They're still dealing with the orbs. My mom's still dealing with people being touched, like grabbed type of touch. Things moving around. Her cats are acting funny. Sorry, mouth is full. Ooh. But it's just like a bunch of weird things. Like I said, I do have multiple hours of footage of stuff going on. Don't worry, I've already contacted multiple people to help figure out what's all in this house, like what's all going on. I'm already putting things into place as like protective safety measures. I just have to wait for them to come in. I know some of you might call me crazy, but my own mother-in-law and my spouse have said, like, no, it's not in your head, because I have seen it with my own two eyes too. You've sent me proof. Like, my mother-in-law doesn't live with us because we have our own house, but we've sent her some weird things happening on the cameras. Like, we've recorded it and sent her the footage, and she even agrees, like, that's not normal, that's not supposed to happen. So there's only 2 people so far in my in-law side of the family that don't believe, and that's my wife's grandmother, because in her eyes she is highly Christian. She says that if she believes in Jesus, then no spirits can get to her or be in her home. When that's not the case, that's not how that works. And then my father-in-law, he's just not open to that kind of stuff. In his eyes, there's always a reasonable explanation for everything. And my mother-in-law kind of finds him weird for that, but, you know, everybody's allowed to have their own opinions at the end of the day. And sometimes it's better to not just believe. But I know what's going on. In my home, it's definitely not normal. Nor is my son's behavior, my 3-year-old, because he is having some weird behaviors. Like I've told my wife, because there was one day me and him were sitting on the couch. I had Mickey Mouse Clubhouse playing on the TV, because that's what they watch all day. Unless if they want to watch something different, then my 3-year-old will let me know. But we were watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. He starts shaking like he's cold. But he has this really weird, creepy, almost like horror movie smile on his face, and this very dark, evil look in his eyes. And he's giggling under his breath while looking at me straight in the eyes and doing it. He eventually snapped out of it, like 5-ish minutes later, gave me a hug, gave me a kiss, got off the couch, started playing with his toys. Never done that before. That is weird. And I've even tried, like, covering him up. I've tried snapping him out of it, like, holding him like a baby, like, cradling him, giving him kisses, tickling him. Nope, nothing worked. He has also snapped on his brother, and all his brother did was touch, like, his knee and, like, smiled at him. My 3-year-old's full-blown snapped. He's never snapped like that or has yelled stop out of anger like that. And of course, we did pull him into another room, talk to him. and explain to him, like, that's not okay. We don't do that. If he's annoying you or upsetting you, you can walk away or you can move over on the couch. And we did put him in a slight timeout because that's not okay. We don't yell at our brother and then almost try to bite him full force. Because my 3-year-old did try to bite him full force, but we stepped in before he could. And we're the kind of parents, we don't try to, like, put our hands on our kids when they're doing something we don't like, and that's not, like, doing and having certain behaviors that we don't find acceptable. We try not to. Now, like, if my 3-year-old turns on the stove, we'll, like, smack his hand a little bit, and just enough to where he feels it, and it kind of shocks him because it catches him by surprise. And then we pull him away as well. We'll talk to him like, hey, we don't touch that, it's dangerous, like, here's why. So we gentle parent, because in our eyes, corporal punishment, as my grandmother calls it, is not the only way of parenting. You don't always have to, like, smack your kid to get your point across. They understand more than you think, especially like my 3-year-old. He has a lot of autistic behaviors, but the person who said that can't formally diagnose him with, like, Asperger's or autism. We have to go to someone that's more, I guess, certified, qualified in it. So we have to take different parenting approaches with him. My 1-year-old, I love him to the ends of the earth. Adorable as can be. But he has just a bunch of rocks rolling around in his head. He cannot connect 2 and 2 together for anything. Like, certain things that a 1-year-old should be doing, he's not doing. We try to teach him, and he just looks at you very confused. Like, we've tried to teach him, like, how to hold a spoon. He'll flip it around and just dip the end of, like, the other part of the spoon in there that you're supposed to hold, and just put it in his mouth and then try to poke somebody out in the eyeball with it. Not the smartest of kids compared to my 3-year-old, but he's adorable. I know he'll get there to being brilliant, but I also do call my 3-year-old a little Houdini and a miniature Einstein. But I digress. I'm just trying to, like, get the point across of, like, normal, typical behaviors for my 3-year-old compared to what are some of the things he is doing, which are not normal for him. Maybe normal for another kid, but it's not normal for mine. So between hearing weird things throughout the house, seeing, like, orbs, my 3-year-old acting funny, and then, like, hearing my voice get called out, I have also seen my wife's doppelganger in my kids' room. And keep in mind, the cameras I have, when they go into night vision, they're in black and white night vision. When I saw my wife's doppelganger, the cameras were in night vision, but the doppelganger was in color. And I knew it wasn't my wife because I watched her walk into the bathroom to go pee. And my boys' bedroom door is shut. So I'm like, yeah, okay. That's weird. That's suspicious. If you guys have any ideas on what could be going on in my house, I would love to hear them. I would also love to hear if you guys have any weird, not normal things going on in your house too. If you would like, I can always kind of do like a montage of the different things that we have catched over the camera. And my 3-year-old, another thing I forgot, my 3-year-old has said a name that we don't say or spell in this house. It's not a bad word. It's just a name of somebody that we don't talk about. And this is something that I've been kind of contemplating on talking about on here, because I don't want to be seen as crazy, because I'm not, especially if other people have experienced the same thing I'm experiencing at the same damn time. Part of my language. But, you know, if they're experiencing it at the same time that I'm experiencing it, then it's not in my head. But right now I'm gonna get, you know, some questions on like my gentle parenting and stuff, so I'll just add this in this video as well. And the parenting style that we have gone with, we call it gentle parenting, because we don't really like to use physical force. We like to talk to our kids as if they're like us too, especially considering my 3-year-old can't understand more than he lets off. We're by no means crunchy parents. Like, we don't eat organic food and not wear shoes out in nature and all that kind of stuff. We eat junk food, granted, you know, I mean, look at the ramen I'm eating. There are times, yes, my 3-year-old gets fed ramen for like lunch, because that's just what he wants. And of course we wear shoes out in public. But we gentle parent-ish. We don't force my 3-year-old to eat something that he doesn't like. If he doesn't like it, we don't force him to eat it. If he no longer, like, if he doesn't finish his dinner, that's fine. Because after all, he would know if he's full. We won't. So there's no need to force feed. As I'm making a mess. We do have a structured bedtime for him, but we don't force him to necessarily go to bed at that time. We do make him at least go into his bedroom and lay down in his bed and just be quiet, like, you know, keep it quiet. Because he does have his brother sleeping and we don't need him woken up. But if you don't want to go to bed, that's fine. We're not going to make you. But yeah, you at least have to lay down in your bed and keep it quiet. If you want to like quietly talk to yourself, that is fine. If you want to twiddle your thumbs, go for it. We also try not to use, like, you know, physical punishment, like spanking, smacking a hand, popping them in the mouth. We try not to do those things. I have seen family members pop my kid in the mouth, and I wasn't happy about that. And our reasoning behind parenting the way we parent is because, like, the way most people parent with, like, corporal punishment, like physical punishment, I'm not saying abuse, but like physical punishment, like spanking, smacking him, he doesn't understand why we're doing it. There's a disconnect in his brain. And we have learned the hard way that if we spank him when he's mad, because he's touching something he shouldn't, or doing something we don't want him to do, he has now turned that and flipped it on us. If we touch something he doesn't want us to touch, or do something he doesn't want us to do, and we piss him off, he will and does smack us. He doesn't really do it anymore because we stopped doing that kind of parenting style, because it wasn't working. This parenting style isn't really working either. It works better than physical punishment, but it doesn't work as it should. It's not really getting the point across. So if you have any other parenting styles that you guys use and work for your kids, especially if you have kids that are on the spectrum, please let me know. I could use the help, because I don't want to be that parent that doesn't punish their kid when they get in trouble, or parent them and just kind of let their kid do whatever. So that's why we kind of parent while we parent. Then I said, my 3-year-old, very, very smart. Our front door, I have watched him completely unlock, deadbolt and all, and open the door and start to walk out it. I did stop him. We don't have our front door like baby proofed yet, or in my case I like to call it Dylan proof, because that is the name of my son, Dylan. We don't have it Dylan proof because you know those plastic like doorknob things that you put over the doorknob? Well, my 3-year-old can get those off. So the ones I was going to do were metal ones that have a lock on it, and you have to have the key to unlock it. He can't work those. Baby gates. We've had 2 different kinds of baby gates. You know, your cheap wooden ones that you have to step over. We've had those. He knows how to take them apart. And then the baby gates that have like the door that you can swing open and walk through, he knows how to open the door, what to push to open the door. So the baby gate that we have now is different. Sorry while I'm eating like a pig. But the baby gate that we have is this baby gate. It pulls out, it latches right here, and it also latches down there as well. And it locks, and it takes 2 hands to unlock it. So he's yet to figure that out. Let's keep it that way. And the only reason why we have it for my 3-year-old is really because we don't want my 3-year-old consistently going into our fridge, grabbing like, you know, our gallon of milk and bringing it into the living room every 5 minutes. Because he doesn't really mess with our stove too much. He doesn't grab for food. It's more he opens our fridge, grabs milk because he knows where to find the milk. If he doesn't see the milk in our fridge, he will move things and look till he finds it. So it's just to keep him mainly out of our fridge. Now, our 1-year-old, we do also have it for our 1-year-old, and that's because my 1-year-old keeps trying to go downstairs. And to get downstairs, you have to go through our kitchen. So we have it just to keep him from going downstairs, but to also keep my 3-year-old pretty much out of my refrigerator. We just had to block off the whole kitchen. He's a very smart kid. We also do have a back door in our kitchen. My 3-year-old has yet to see it, but I know when he does see it, he will open it and go outside. Thankfully, it just leads into our backyard, and our backyard has a privacy fence that is not easy to open, nor can you open it from the backyard. But still, I don't want him going outside alone. Even if it is just our backyard, I still don't trust it. So I'd rather be out there with him, so it makes it easier. And then like the little plastic outlet cover things that you put into the outlet, personally I don't like those. Those are just what we have right now. He does know how to pull those out of an outlet, so he can plug something in, and typically it's our vacuum. He's trying to plug in our vacuum. He also knows how to turn on our vacuum. So when I say smart kid, I mean smart. He knows how to get into my phone. My phone does have a passcode, and it also has Face ID. He has gotten past my Face ID and turned on my music. Or started calling my mom on Messenger. And I'm not talking like voice call on Messenger either. I'm talking full-blown video chat. So when I mean smart, I mean smart. So parenting styles, very, very hard. Baby proofing, very, very hard. So I can use some advice on that. What are some things that are hard for very advanced toddlers to figure out, but not so hard that mom over here cannot get it undone? Like those plastic doorknob covers for like your front doors or stuff. Those, he can undo those, like full blown take them off. But with me, if I put them on, I can't get out of that door. Or I can't get into, like, open, or, like, I can't open the door. So, there's kind of like this running joke on my in-law's side. The family that's up, we Katie-proofed the house. They don't call it toddler-proofing, baby-proofing. They call it Katie-proofing because they see me as dumber than a box of rocks that can't get through baby-proofing. No, and like, no, it's not the fact that I'm too dumb to get around it, because I know how it works. It's just with me having the health issues that I have, I'm not strong enough. I don't have that kind of muscle to push things in and pull things. You know, I'm not strong enough to play a really difficult game of bop it with baby proofing, as I like to call it. But I'm gonna get off here. If you do see other videos with me wearing the same shirt, it's because I am kind of like mass filming today. I have like 2 or 3 other videos that I want to film for you guys. So, you know, don't be commenting on the fact that I'm wearing the same shirt, because I already gave you guys that heads up. But until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.